Alright, here's no cards. Different jobs / positions, they each require a specific skill set and a specific amount of experience. And when choosing who to give that job to, wouldn't it be best to allow the people who are going to be directly affected by it to choose instead of just one person's judgment? I'm sure most of you have already finished K through 12 and are currently in college or just in the workforce. But back then you didn't have any power to change anything, but now you do. And even if it's not for yourself, you can still do it for your kids, the next generation, basically. And me personally, in my state, there was being a bill was trying to be passed that would have changed the school board from elected to appointed. Luckily, that didn't happen, and I hope it doesn't happen anywhere else. Which is why today I'm gonna be telling you a little bit about the differences between elected school boards and appointed school boards, more specifically why you would want an elected over an appointed school board, for both the reasons of one person not having too much power and not allowing the the citizens to have an opinion over things, and other advantages that come with it. So now I'll start off by telling you the differences between an appointed and an elected school board. The two different ways a school board can be chosen is either one, by the governor directly choosing who to put into the board, or by a vote from the people, and each candidate having to win over those citizens. So, according to Don Daly in 2019, these states, Delaware, Iowa, Maine, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Tennessee, Vermont, and Virginia, they're all appointed school boards, meaning that the governor has a most setting in choosing who to put there and what goes on with education. And one thing to take away from appointed school boards is that the governor would be held accountable for most of the problems that happen, which means anything wrong with the system would be directly referred back to him, and that wouldn't be good because it would be too much pressure on one person, and everyone would hope that he or she can fix it, making it a lot worse. Now, for elected school boards, same source, Don Daly 2019, it states that Alabama, Colorado, Kansas, Michigan, Nebraska, and Utah, all of those are elected school boards. And for these, both the governor and the board are accountable to voters, meaning they have to try to please the citizens, the people, in order to get their job positions. And here, the governor has the weakest position in setting the education. They're not as active in the other one where they can directly choose who they want or what's happening, where the funds go. Instead, the elected school board would be much more responsive to the voters in wanting to figure out their opinions and their needs and finding ways to actually make it happen. So, on the first reason why you would want an elected school board or an appointed school board is that an appointed school board would mean that one person chooses everything. That wouldn't be good. So, according to jxfaf.org, an appointed superintendent would most likely bring harm to the quality of qualified candidates and having a strong match between the candidates. Another reason being is that the governor wouldn't always choose what's actually being needed. It could be a personal preference, or and it just won't pay attention. If we had an elected school board, then each candidate would try to please the people, and if they do get the position, Then from then they will work on what they wanted and still listen to the audience. So now, according to educationstate.org in 2020, the elective school board would the elected school board would have a much higher freedom and independence in actually choosing what's happening. So the same as what I just said, that they would have a much better chance of actually choosing what's good for the city. Now, with my next reason, it's just explaining some of the other advantages that having an elected school board over an appointed school board. So, according to jxpath.org in 2019, in order for an elected school board member to be even considered, they have to be a resident of the county. And by doing this, it would really narrow the field of qualified candidates. Not only that, they would also be living where they're going to be directly affecting, meaning they'll understand the situation a bit better. Now, for the next according to Junior Juan Perez in 2019, it states that many of the places that need this change are the working class, mostly of color, and it's been said that in a lot of reports that many of them says that they want real democracy. They don't want just one person choosing what's going on with their school system. They would rather vote for it, try to figure it out amongst themselves. This would counteract the lack of funds many school systems get, either because the government puts too much elsewhere and forget all about school, and a lot of other injustices in the system if they're just simply ignoring the school system of those places. So, in conclusion, today I have told you a little bit about differences between elected and appointed school boards. More specifically, where you would want an elected school board, both for the reasons of one person not having too much power, it being more of a democracy, and some other advantages that come with an elected school board. So, for the future, let's not want failing schools, either for the reason of not being enough funds or they're just being ignored. Because remember, kids are the future.